So we're going to do a very interesting session again. This is close to my heart, which is the SharePoint. Before I start the session, I'm going to ask a question that is direct. How many of you know SharePoint? And so how many SharePoint IT admins do we have? How many SharePoint developers do we have? So we have one. You can say, it's me, it's my nobody wants you to be between the audience. Alright, okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to tell you about the new SharePoint. You're going to see that a lot of changes is happening. And I want you to look into this as an opportunity, right? An opportunity within the business that you are part of. Whether you are a partner that is implementing SharePoint for the customers or a customer that implementing SharePoint internally. There's a huge opportunity that is available out there. I'm going to be talking from both business and technical. You can stop me at any point in time. You can ask me the question. The good thing I'm going to try as much as I can to go deep as much as you think of within the SharePoint, but we're not going to show the system administration. There is nothing much to show you the system administration with the SharePoint. The same service applications is in there within the SharePoint 2010 and the SharePoint 2013, but I will focus today about enabling SharePoint for the business users and what are the new features that are available in SharePoint. It's going to be a very interactive one. And I need you to stop me at any point in time when you have any question. Right? So let's do it. So what is SharePoint 2013? If you look at it, it's a new way for us to work together. That's supposed to mean that it has a massive rebranding that's happened over the SharePoint to enable that new way to work together. If you look into the Office 365 that I was illustrating across the two different sessions before, you have seen on the toolbar in the above, I was able to move between Outlook, People, Skype Pro, sites, like seamless. So this is a new way that didn't used to happen before. You know, before SharePoint used to be separate application, Exchange is a separate application. You didn't have that kind of unified experience between all the different applications. This is something that completely we have redone within the new SharePoint. Now, the way how we explain SharePoint for whether the business users or the technical people, we don't have anymore the 7 pillars of the SharePoint, the 7 magic pillars they used to call within the SharePoint. Now we can say simply SharePoint is about organizing your content. When I say content, any content, pages, documents, media, images, all of that can be considered as content. The second thing is discovery, means that I need to search for the content. I need to find the content and make sure that when I find the content, I can filter with that kind of search. I need to have the enterprise search features, but as well, I need to go even to the advanced one, which is fast search seamlessly. So we're going to talk about that. But discover as well means that SharePoint has to be capable to have a built-in knowledge management from day one. And this is very important. So that's something that we have added as well. And building, oops, that wasn't part of the presentation. Alright, so building means I need to develop against SharePoint. In SharePoint, you will find a very interesting concept. I will say the word here, we will explain it in a light demo. It's called apps. You know, before we used to create web parts. And when we create the web parts, all the time I was dreaming one day to wake up in the morning and find Microsoft. They did something called Office Store. It's like an iPad store and so on. Where I can go, if I need a web part for the employee of the month, I can go to the App Store, search employee of the month. I might have a web part there that's uploaded from one of the users, install the SharePoint, and play with it. I know there is a company, it's not a company, there is a community that have done something with the name of Drew, something like that, what is it? Anyways, they tried that. The good thing in Microsoft, they made it in the best way possible. I'm going to show you that live. And the people that used to know SharePoint 2010, 2007, you know this is massive. Because we are talking about the next generation experience when it comes to sharing, not content only, but sharing apps across the organization or across the web. The last one is manage. And when we talked about SharePoint 2013 and manage, you know, sometimes what happens, we have Exchange as an email system. Archiving is enabled already with Exchange. We have SharePoint as our enterprise management system. We needed in many times to have SharePoint, a single search engine, and the e-discovery tool for both systems, for Exchange and for SharePoint. This is something that we have done with SharePoint 2013. So as an example, when you archive content in Exchange and you archive content in SharePoint, you can have one e-discovery tool to go on both. SharePoint 2013 is built from a management perspective. We made sure that we have to change the architecture. Goodbye fast, welcome enterprise search. Now, fast is built in within SharePoint. No more separate installation for fast. Fast actually it is SharePoint. And even when you buy the license for SharePoint, we don't tell you SharePoint license for fast, we tell you SharePoint service. That's the way how we do it. Alright, so fast is a built-in component now within SharePoint. This is something massive, and it took Microsoft a huge development to do it and make it available. Alright, so moving forward, if you look about it, SharePoint is becoming very social. You have seen this today. Since this is my profile, it was a picture for Kate. It's good that I can do a call and somebody says, "Hi, Kate." Alright, so this is SharePoint social. And SharePoint social, please.
Yeah, you are talking about SharePoint on the premises, right? It's not SharePoint online.
Or it's the same. Now it's the same.
Because Microsoft, they have SharePoint online. They have SharePoint online.
صح.
They have also for the Office products also.
صح.
I'm getting confused.
Right. I will explain.
It's very confusing.
Sure.
You have so many
applications
or something different and different versions. I don't know.
Sure.
It's very
I
confusing.
will explain in a second.
For example, you want to buy Office 2010 or 2013, okay? They have different pricing. And you go to SharePoint Online, they have price. You go to SharePoint on premises, you will have the hardware and all this stuff.
Sure.
It's really confusing, and the prices, I think the prices are high.
I will definitely explain in a second. We will reach to that. What I'm going to tell you now, when I reach that point that this is something that's unique for on-premise, I will say that this is unique for on-premise.
What?
When I reach that stage, that there's something that's unique for on-premise, I will say that this is unique for on-premise. But what I'm going to demonstrate across all the presentation is something that's applicable on-premise and on the cloud. This is, by the way, the new Office 365. This is not the old Office 365. So if you are using, as an example, the old Office 365, you might have experienced SharePoint 2010. With the new Office 365, the same experience is available everywhere. Please go ahead.
I'm confused again.
Yes,
The new Office 365 and the old Office, what's the difference?
Right, so the current version of Office 365 that is publicly available, it's the 2010 version of all the different servers. You know, we moved now to the Exchange 2013, SharePoint 2013. The new version of our cloud offering, which means upgrading the 2010 to 2013, the new one will be available by 27th of this month. So for the new customers, they will have immediately the ability to have the new Office 2013, not the old Office 2010. Now, for the customers that they have Office 2010 or SharePoint 2010, if you are in the cloud, you will go with the migration plan that happens on the cloud. If you are on-premise, you need to do the migration on-premise. I will explain this. I will make sure that I'm going to organize it in a way that will be understood. Now, here's the new experience of SharePoint. So SharePoint is becoming very social. What we mean by that, you know Facebook, right? So we have added most of the Facebook features in the SharePoint, like comment, reply, hashtags and mentioning. All of that's enabled now within SharePoint. The very amazing concept that we have added is not only you have a profile, but as well you have a storage for yourself, what they call it a SkyDrive Pro today. And if you think about it, if we have this by its own, I can tell you many scenarios where what we can implement on Microsoft, as an example, SharePoint social feeds as a scenario. You know, we have a National Assembly in Kuwait, National Assembly, where we have what we call them in English. Right, so we have the ones that are representing the parliament. So what happens there is that Imagine if everyone wants to have a profile outside. And this profile, you can have his feed, his blog, his content. This is something that can be done with SharePoint right away. It's out of the box. It's available right away. If you have internally, if I need, for example, for the manager, for the CFO, for the CIO, every one of them has to have a blog that's shared across the employees. This is something that you can have. But by default SharePoint, when you add users, it creates a profile for them. You can definitely save and play with it, have it Arabic only, English only, or multilingual. All of that is enabled in the social stuff. But the fantastic features that they have added here, that you don't need to develop anymore, like favorites, reply, it's all built in. And they added a new concept as well called communities. I'll explain in a second. We have added as well that if you look into it, the social, you can see here that I'm following people. But I can follow documents now. So any document in SharePoint, you can click follow if it's enabled. And you can even follow sites. So if you want to add sites as a favorite, but you need to follow as well the updates that happen on these sites, you can follow these updates. So the follow concept, you know, on the Twitter, we follow people to know their updates. In an enterprise, we follow content to see what is an update, what updates it's happening with the content itself. So this is something that we have added as well. If you look at it, one of the things that we have as well is that what about SharePoint across the devices? How I can go to that in newsfeed, the social one, across the different devices? You know, this is my Windows phone. And if you look into Windows Phone here, I have SharePoint in newsfeed, so it's an application that's available here. But some people will start telling me, so SharePoint, newsfeed, social concept, and Microsoft acquired Yammer. What is happening out there? Yammer in the future, near future, will become part of SharePoint as well. Today, there are definitely two things, because we just acquired the company. But you will have Yammer built in within SharePoint, which means Yammer is one of the most advanced tools for enterprise social networking. Today, for free, go to Yammer, just type in email, register. And since you activate, to activate the name of your company, you can start adding users. I'm going to tell you a story that happened at Microsoft. They told us Wednesday, the rumors went online, that Microsoft is acquiring Yammer. It was Wednesday. Thursday, we had 10,000 people from Microsoft joining Yammer. We didn't used to know what the company, personally, I didn't used to know what's Yammer. It was a growing company that is selling Yammer to the biggest companies worldwide, to the Fortune 500. And they were very focused on social enterprise. You know why the 10,000 happened? Because Yammer, the assembly, as you go there, you register your name, it just allows you to have a name at an official company. So I can't have a name at hotmail.com. It has to be actual company name.com. And when you access, if there is someone that will access and say, this is my company, they will have that registration immediately. It's very simple, very nice tool, direct to the point, and you can use it today by yourself. But what happened in SharePoint, we even had these features because some people do not want to use Yammer in the cloud. They want to have their own social experience. So this is as well built in now in SharePoint. And the newsfeed as well built in SharePoint. Let me show you something else. Sharing content. You know, when you want to share content, before one of the tasks that was common, that someone tells you that I need this document. What you used to do in SharePoint, remember? Right click, properties. Sometimes the link comes there, sometimes the link is not there. It's not because of the SharePoint technology, but because this is the way how SharePoint was. You need to tell them about the site, not the documents. Right? With the new SharePoint 2015, they added share everywhere. Literally everywhere. A record, document, image, video, anywhere you hover the mouse on, you have the share. Why? Because they believe that actually collaboration is becoming more productive when you share. And when you share, it tells you where you want to share. You want to share across the email, or you just need to give them permissions. Not like before, edit the permissions, add the people permissions, and so on. It's like very smooth now. The other thing that we have added is what we call it timelines. So across the SharePoint now, whenever you create a site, it asks you, are you working on the tasks? What about if I add you on the above of the site, what is the timeline of these tasks? So they want to highlight the performance of the team and how we can work as a team. Because most of the time what happens, when we are collaborating on tasks that are completed, Before, we used to go to that task list to see the results. Now you can have a snapshot immediately from that task list and that timeline view, kind of something very similar to Project Server, and you can see the timeline of the tasks. What are the completed ones, what are the remaining ones? Right away from SharePoint. As well, one thing that we added is the drag and drop feature. I'm going to keep this for the demo, because this is a very nice one, but I will show you more even about what they have done with the drag and drop. The second thing that as well we have done is the syncing and the offline access. You remember we used to have in 2010 an application. I believe that 99.99% of you didn't use it, which is SharePoint Workspace. Have you used SharePoint Workspace? Right? Yeah, SharePoint Workspace is a company that we have acquired, and we had them immediately part of Microsoft. It used to be before even another system called Groove. Then we upgraded that to SharePoint Workspace. Now, in 2013, what happened? The team came and started saying, why we need an application? Why we don't make SharePoint as part of the operating system? So when you click in Sync in SharePoint, immediately Windows Explorer knows that this is a folder that has to be synced offline, and it will have the files downloaded to you offline. As simple as that. No more application running and so on in the background. The upload and download of the files just goes through with the Windows. This is, I believe, a major enhancement and a major improvement. They have added as well a new design concept. I'm going to leave this and I'm going to show it to you now. This is SharePoint, how it looks like when you change the design. You might find a lot of companies as well that is working in Kuwait, Arabis, DR, and definitely we have other companies like Nexus and so on. We have a lot that I was working on SharePoint, and I'm really happy that I can see a lot of companies now working with SharePoint digital marketing side. You know, when you work on SharePoint, from a digital marketing perspective, means that you create websites on SharePoint. You need these websites to be very beautiful. What I will do now, I will show you one website. This is MSW. This is Microsoft internal website. This is our intranet system, right? Okay, Microsoft. This is everyone in Microsoft. You go to this page, and if you look into this page, we didn't do a lot of customization. Internally, we don't believe that it has to be very colorful and to use customization. We need to go out of the box as much as we can, and that's something that we are adapting inside Microsoft. But let me tell you about the company. That's it. No, we are a little have more treasure than Microsoft. So we're going to do some advanced customization. So I don't know if you have this car. Actually, I don't have it for sure. This is Ferrari. I used to go to the school with my Ferrari. Yeah, so I don't have Ferrari, of course. Anyways, this is Ferrari. This is Ferrari that always built on SharePoint on it. If you look into Ferrari, they wanted to make the SharePoint a different experience. I love it. This is one of the most wonderful SharePoint sites I have ever experienced. And what they have done, they consumed every single feature in SharePoint and they rebranded the SharePoint in an amazing experience. They use SharePoint as what it should be used for, content management system. If you want to look into other websites, you can always go to www.com, WSS demo, live events. You will see a lot of websites built on SharePoint, and you can see how people are customizing SharePoint from the default layout to extremely customized layout right away on the cloud. So, as you can see here, I can look into tons of web applications, websites that are available online that use Microsoft SharePoint as technology. And you can even, when you look into these websites, you can move between, you can filter the websites. You can say that I need just only the websites that are related to telecommunication companies or health and so on. So this is as well something that you can look at. But by the way, this uses a tool for free. It's called Level 2, Live Level 2. Let me show you how it filters. What do you think? By the way, this site is based on SharePoint 2013. Right, so you can look into the websites and you can definitely zoom in the websites that you want. Continue. So the digital marketing side is always about, yes, we have the features, but make sure that you have the digital marketing, the real impact when people, they go to your site. Usually I go to the websites and I look at them. Some websites, for intranet, I don't need a lot of customization. I need development. I need people to use SharePoint, not to consume it as a wow system or as a beautiful system. The out of the box is wonderful that we have to do. But in the online is different. In the online, we need to show the content. We need to attract people to use our services and so on. So this is where we need to look into companies that are specialized in digital marketing. This is very, very important. Moving forward. In SharePoint, we organize teams. We mean by teams that we might have different departments. For those departments, we call them teams. When we organize teams, we need to make sure that we have features like communities. This is a new feature in SharePoint for Ask Q&A, like discussion forums. We used to call them discussion forums, they are now called communities. One feature that we have added on the community side that's really nice, it's called Site Mailbox. It's a new feature in SharePoint 2013. What Site Mailbox does, actually, if we have a distribution list, and we are sending emails, receiving email distribution list, the emails will remain in Exchange. The documents of these emails will go to SharePoint. So this is a new feature that we have added in SharePoint 2013, integrated with the Exchange Server 2013. Right. Create sites in a few simple clicks. What about we go and create a site? What about we do a live demo? Create a site and we see what is the experience looks like when we create a site. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to here. We'll go to the sites section. What I will do, I will live create a website. Creating a website in SharePoint or a web application is the same exact experience as before. But one thing that we have added to creating the website is that we wanted, if you are deploying SharePoint today in your enterprise, you need to think, is SharePoint is a portal for all the users? This is one section. Or is SharePoint a site for this department or for this team or for this project? This is the second one. This is what I call it, teams and departments. Or is SharePoint is really an application, like a vacation application, dashboard for the executives, correspondence management for inbound and outbound documents? Or is SharePoint actually is a real application for, for registration system or for anything that you want, right? So this is what we call them the apps, or using SharePoint as a platform. Fourth, is SharePoint is acting as a my site, or SharePoint is acting as a search engine? So those are the 5 components that you need to keep in your mind when you structure your content within SharePoint. And if I go here, if I go to the website here, and what I will do live, I will go and create a site. So when I go to the site section, and I want you to create a new site, so I'm going to go to the SharePoint. Right, so I'm going to go and create a new site connection. So I can go here, as you know, and I can say I need to create a new site connection. So I'm going to say that I need a live site connection, and I want this site connection to be a team site. So we're going to call it team. And as you can see, SharePoint supports all the different languages, including Arabic now. On the Office 365 or on-premise, it supports Arabic completely. So I can say that I need this team site. Administrator is Sam A. And I can give a special quotes if I need. Right, so what's going to happen now, in the background, it will go and create a site for me. Once the site created in SharePoint, one of the things that we wanted to do in the past is that what happens most of the time when we create a site, a lot of people, they start telling me, all right, what's the first task that comes to your mind? How I'm going to brand it? In SharePoint 2015, we tell you that leave the brand until the end. Go and focus on something else. Go and start creating and structure the content. After you do everything, you choose the themes that you want. SharePoint Designer completely supports it. But we want you to add more. Why we stick always to the branding side of the SharePoint Designer? What about Dreamweaver? So now with SharePoint 2015, we support Dreamweaver as well. Right? So you can go to Dreamweaver and you can design your themes on the SharePoint side. One of the things that we have done as well, we start thinking if we have SharePoint enabled and we created the SharePoint, what's happening if I need to export that SharePoint and I need capitals in it? So this is something that used to be before, but now you can have an even more simplified way of how you can share that site as a template across the different places, especially when you add self-provisioning. So think of it, what I do usually when I go to organizations and I need to quickly create SharePoint sites, I go and create a site for a department, specific department. I create the content, the structure, and everything. After I finish for that department, I save it as a template. Then I recreate for everyone that site. This is the way I will do it. I'm going to go here. You copy it. This is the site. It will be enabled in the site. Go to another site. Until the site is back on track. What happens usually when you go to your site and you want to access your site, most of the time what happens, that people comes by and start saying, all right, okay, I want to create content for that website. I want to add the content. But at the same time, others might say, all right, I want to add now apps to the site. So this is a new concept that we have added within the new SharePoint. So you can go here and you can start creating, you can add in apps. Now when you add apps, as an administrator, you can say that it's enabled for people to add apps. You remember when you used to add calendar? Calendar now is an app. Task list is an app. List is an app. It's called an app, called list. Right? Custom list. So if I go here as an example, and I need to add some stuff, so I will go and say site content. And I want you to add, notice what's happening here. Add an app, and you can look into SharePoint, those are apps. If you go and say add an app, as an example, calendar, you can have calendar from here. Or you can come and look into what kind of apps available in the cloud. Right? So if this is enabled, I can browse the different apps enabled in the cloud, and I can add one of the apps available in the cloud. Some of them are free, some of them you buy them. I like many of the apps. I think some of the guys, they were waiting the Office store to be available, and they did immediately some very nice apps, even if they cost $1, $2 sometimes, but they are fine. One of the brilliant apps is the breaking news. You know, we used to do the breaking news at the top of the site, the portal. It's an app now. Another one added, you know, when you go to Al Jazeera and you have the picture and different news showing, Every picture has a description of the or thumbnail of the news. It's an app now, right? Every of the month, there is an app called Every of the Month, or Every Awards, right? All of these can be apps. You can imagine sometimes what you need to do is just create a site, add a couple of apps that you planned before, and you might put the SharePoint site and use that one day as a portal for your company. So this is how fast you can go. Please go ahead.
You can develop your own app?
You can develop your own apps, of course, using Visual Studio. And you can even upload them to the cloud and send them out if you want to. About that. But we share. I guess I'm the speaker. Alright, so I can see calendar. And I go and create a calendar. The same way how we created before. So if you notice, yes, there are changes, but that doesn't supposed to mean that there are major changes, that we change everything. Yeah, it's the same concepts. We reorganize them in a way that to be enabled for business users to understand them. If I go to the home, let me show you what you can do on the page. Like before, I can do edit the page, and it will show me immediately that this page is a wiki page. You can notice that this is a wiki page. Alright? But will show me as well the ribbon, as we know the ribbon. And definitely at any location I can go and insert images, videos, and so on. So I can even come here and say, I need to add a web part. And even when you go and enable adding web parts, you have something called app art. You've seen it? So when you create your app, you can create different app parts for that app. Alright? So that app might be a list, but there are different app parts for this application. I'm not going to I don't know how people will go sophisticated with this one, but this is amazing. By this one, you can see as an example, I have a calendar, but I want to show the calendar app on the home page. You know the calendar app? Have you seen it before? There is an app that used to be very well known, SharePoint Marketing, where you have a calendar that says which days are booked or which days they have events, and they highlight them in the calendar. There was something we called it X for free. Now it is an app actually, it's available in the store. Right. So my calendar app is here. You can say add immediately in the home page. I will see calendar. I'll click it out. Yeah. You can see that it added the calendar app immediately right away. Once I create the content. Now, what is happening in modifying the branding? Right, so people, you wanted to look into, right, very nice, but the branding is different. So it's not the SharePoint anymore. And if you go even more, if you look into the first time you open SharePoint, the first time you create the site, this is the way how it looks like. So this is my first time I open the site. This will give me, this is the way how the site looks like. So tell me, would you like to share your site? Sharing my site immediately. Just ask me, it's a team site for sharing content. Share your site with the teams. Like, why you wait for it? So when I say share site, without going into the advanced permissions and so on, or a business user that doesn't understand the technicalities behind it, you have added that share right away, and you can say that I need edits, or I can show options and say no, just only for review and so on. Right? There is working on a deadline. When I click working on a deadline, let's say, alright, what is the deadline that you want? I'm going to add for you a task list and a calendar because you are working on a deadline. When I say add them, look what's going to happen to the site. The site will add a calendar and a task list, and will add above the site a timeline. So you can see now in 1 second, okay, a timeline is being shown. So this is one of the things. Now here becomes the cool part. What about the size and the branding? So when I go and I want to change the branding of the page of the site that I created, I can click here, what is my style? There are different brands. Let's go this one. see how it looks like. So this is my page, how it looks like. Do you like the background of the page? You don't like it, right? Me neither. So let me show you something. So if I go to the pictures here, then I say as an example, right? Okay, so I want to go to the pictures. And I'm going to just add the background that I have here. So I have this one. What about that? Look into my window. That's it. I'm adding the background. What do you think of that? We change the background in a second. This is the way how you can change, actually change the background, but a different color. Let me show you what it did. You can see that I need this style, or I need the also style. Try it out. How easy is this for branding? Right? We don't want you to keep thinking about the branding. My honest feedback, intranet, please, for departmental, don't change the branding. Keep it as it is. Just change some colors. Thank you so much. Make the users work. Right? Just we focus on the users work. The internet portal, we will change the branding because this is a corporate portal. Internet websites, we will change the branding because this is an internet website. But for departmental, for teams to work, this right away, let them work and start focusing on the content. Yes, keep it. And I don't really, right? So we have the link there now. This is the new site. You can see it's very beautiful. It's the site is very beautiful. Right, so you can look at it with a new background. How that took us? Did you like it first of all? Yeah, nice. Yeah, this is SharePoint 2015. Now let's look into the second part of the SharePoint, which is the documents. If you look into the documents within SharePoint, one of the things that people used to ask us about, let me go documents here. One of the things that we used to be asked about is we have a huge amount of documents. SharePoint is an enterprise document management system. That's supposed to mean that you don't need any other document management tool to be there within your enterprise. Please, when you invest in SharePoint, you don't need to invest in any other document management tool. If you need to bring a document management tool, bring it just only for scanning, that's it. Focus on scanning components. Focus on workflows. Just don't replace the document management features that's available in SharePoint. If you have SharePoint, SharePoint has versioning, comparing documents, information policies, labeling, adding favorites, tagging, all of these, even digital asset management, is all enabled within the SharePoint. You don't need docu-something or anything that I have in my mind. All of that is just a replication of investment that you do. What you need these tools to do, scan, get the content stored in SharePoint. I have a document management here. But let me show you a couple of features that we have on SharePoint. So this is actually, I'm accessing a site. When I access this engineering site, you know what's this? You know what is this that is in front of me? This is an Excel file. Can you notice that this is an Excel file part? So I uploaded the document in SharePoint. There is an Excel web access part. And this is Excel. This is actually a record. This is completely record. If I click in package 2, it will change the data in the background. So if I click in package 2, it will go and change the data. This is a real Excel file. Alright? We just uploaded the Excel file. Excel will access to view this Excel file without the frames. It appears as if it's part of the page. Alright? And people didn't even notice. If I go to documentation, the engineering section here, I can see the different documents. One of the things that you can notice, of course, that when you hover the mouse over the documents, you can definitely see the Office with apps, the inline one. If I look into any of the documents, I can, as you can see here, I can share and follow the content. So if I say follow, immediately added that this content is being followed. You can see here. If I open the document, it will open the document. You see here when I click on continue. I will discuss with you something that's really important. SharePoint as a document management system, it has a feature called content types. Who knows content types in SharePoint? Right, okay. So content types is about organizing the content. What we mean by that, if I have a contract, and every time my legal department, they create that contract. They create a view, they create a contract. Do you know the normal way what they do? They go to a folder, they find the documents, copy-paste, rename the documents, then they create the contract. This is what they do. If they have, so what you have in SharePoint, you have the ability to have templates. So you can have, as an example, a contract as a template. You can upload it as a content type. And a content type means that this is not the file type. This is a type of a document. So this document type is a contract. Means that some information has to be there with a contract. Contract date, contract expiry date, and so on. So those are what we call them the metadata, right? The document itself is a template. So when people create a new contract, it will immediately bring up the template. People can fill the information, save it, and with the new labeling and the new naming conventions that we have in the SharePoint, it just goes with the names. Right? This is how you can go faster with the SharePoint. Think of this a huge amount of data that you have internally. Contracts, resumes, legal documents that you might have. Sometimes if you are very manual on the vacation request, so new vacation document, people can create the vacation document, they can store it there. So all of that can happen when you have this. One of the things that I wanted to show you as well, other than the document management, is that when we look into SharePoint here, I told you about the ability of the SharePoint is not all as well as like to interact as a document management system, but SharePoint is a social tool. So if I go to the site and search, of course. So if I go here into the sites, and as an admin, I wanted to search for content. So I'm going to say, if you see me, if you can hear me, let me know. Right. Okay, let's try this. No. Okay, product. Marketing. When I'm searching in SharePoint can let me search everything, means everywhere across the sites. By the way, when you say everything, if you have SharePoint deployed in your company, in premises, you can let SharePoint index your file servers. You can let SharePoint work as a search engine for other applications. Even if the website is built in another language, we can have SharePoint search working there. This is how advanced is the search engine. The best in the world search engine in the cloud, in the browser, in the normal for public, is very well known. You don't need even to mention it here, do I? Right, so the one other than the public, right, the one other than the public, this is the most common one. It's like the company we have everywhere places, and this is a fact. Yes, definitely our bank is going massive and it's growing. Hopefully it's going to be launched officially within our region soon. So you can see how competitive it is. But on premises, the story is different. Both of us will start from scratch. Let me tell you a story that I heard from one of the teams that work in the search engine. When we acquired Fast is the best search engine in the world. It's actually the second one for companies. The first one is Fast, the second one was Autonomy, the third one was the Microsoft, and the fourth one was the other guys. So what happened, when we acquired Fast, I used to tell them, like, do they compete with you or anything? They said no. We didn't actually discuss the same search engine concepts in the same room. This is how advanced they are. Let me show you one of the implementations for the search engines publicly available that you can access today. You know Yahoo? Yahoo search engine was originally based on Fast technology, which the company we acquired. But you know Battle for Bahrain. Battle for Bahrain, they did a very nice concept. What they said, what about we enable search engine for the public? Right? So people will go to that search engine and search for any addresses inside Bahrain. They wanted to do the search engine for Bahrain. And they used Fast search engine, which is now SharePoint. So as you can see here, I can go to the customer service. There is the phone directory. If I click on the phone directory, this is actually fast, which is SharePoint now. Running as a phone directory. I can search for anyone. We have, as an example, area. See, you can help me if you want. Okay. I can search for Wasim Hashim. Let's see. Okay. So you can see that, right? Okay, so I'm searching as a directory, and I click search, and immediately it gives me the results. If I say that I need just only an anywhere, search.
You're searching the area.
Right, so on typing the search, I can see the right, so it gives me right away the result list, and I can see immediately the result. But one more thing I can see here, if I click on more, it gives me even the results on the map. So I can see all the results right away presented on the map. So how this looks like. So this is the way how you can go advanced with the search. When I search in SharePoint internally, I go and click on search. It goes into internally across all the different websites. Now, one of the things that we have added, you see the scopes, right? By the way, you can brand the search engine to be very similar to the public search engines. You have your logo up to the search bar and so on. What you look here is the different stuff. If I click on people, it will give me right away the people that are specialized in product marketing. Conversations, I told you that we have communities features where people can discuss between each other, so conversation can be as a scope. And if I hover the mouse over anyone, I can see that they are online, offline, because SharePoint is natively integrated with Link. If I go back to everything, you can see the filters, right? On the left. So it tells me, oh, you are searching for product marketing. What is that? Is this a site? Can you see now? If I click on the site, it gives you a view of the site for all elements. Right? If I say this is a PowerPoint presentation, similar to the web apps, when I have on the mouse, it will show me right away that application. So this is the way how we're going massive on this one. If I click onto this result, and it doesn't actually search just only the name, the title. It searches inside the document. Right? So this is how massive. I can say that I need just only the documents that are modified since this period as well. So this is a new way of how you can filter. If I click on videos, right? If I click on videos now, you can definitely search videos. And one of the things that you can see, this is a complete digital asset management. Even if I click on the video, I can immediately play that video right away from here. So I can say that, alright, so this is the video. Once it loads, I can click play and play the video right away. So you can see the video is running here. But one thing that I need to add as well as a remark, SharePoint now supports embedding videos. So you can embed YouTube videos within SharePoint, or you can embed as well external videos within SharePoint. So this is a new feature that we added. The last one that I'm going to finish with, the SharePoint side, is one of the stuff that we have added other than the search. So we talked about the search, that we can discover the information. One of the things that I wanted to finish with is how SharePoint would look like when we want to manage the compliance features. So if we say that we have documents, we have other stuff that's embedded on the SharePoint, what's going to happen when we need to manage this content? This content is going to be massive across the organization, and we need to make sure that all the time we manage it. So one of the things that we start talking about in the SharePoint is that, yes, you can definitely build an architecture around the content. You have legal holds built within SharePoint. So if you see that a document has to change to be a record, you can change that document to be a record. No one can edit that document. So no one can edit that document will become a record within the organization. So as a record management system, SharePoint is a record management system. Which means if I have a legal contract, I say after 1 year, this contract will not be changed. So the contract will have a lock next to it that no one can modify. It becomes a record. Only the admin can bring that from being a record. One of the things as well that we have added with SharePoint is what we call it the self-service site content management. So for you, when you build that template that we said, the template for the department, you can upload it as a template, and you can allow different people from the organization to go to the site and say, I want to create a project site. If we are in a university, as an example, or we are in a big company that people are creating sites all the time, you can create templates for events. So people, without coming back to you, they can go to that site, create a new site, choose the event templates, and they can start the stuff. There are multiple templates that are available out of the box. You'll find a huge amount of templates as well available online. You just need to find the right place to find them. You need to look to the right place to find them. And you can build your own templates. If you want to be creative. Right, so if you want to be creative differently, the digital marketing side, you need definitely to have the people that understand digital marketing, the way how they can brand the sites, and so on. There are different websites that are available online. I wish I had the time to show you these websites. And there's something that changes. You need to tell me what is changing actually. Is it what you have customized in SharePoint, or the SharePoint out of the box?
No, just my question is that will it be showing exactly the same what you're seeing right now on the browser?
Yes, it will show the same. This is, by the way, everything I've done is supported by HTML5 and the new branding, the new rendering engine that's available with SharePoint. There are limitations, of course, on very specific components like the drag and drop as an example. This is the way how the limitation is. Other than that, it's the same exact experience. As an example, Microsoft will remove everything about the tables in SharePoint 2013. Everything now is div and what do you call it? Div as and so on. Yeah, CSS by default is there, but they change the site to match to be compatible across the browsers. And there is, to be honest with you, what you can find. Look into this page. And definitely use this guy, not that guy. Alright, okay. So go with SharePoint browser. See? SharePoint browser compatibility. It will give you everything that you need to plan for browser support in SharePoint. What are the limitations? What kind of browsers we support? As I can tell you now, all the latest browsers on the desktop are supported. On the iPad and iPhone specifically, or the Android rendering engine, you just need to look into this page. So you can go, there is a table out here that will say what is supported and supported.
No, actually there is, and on premises, on the licenses, there is a workaround to disable the mobile device. But in Office 365, there is no workaround to disable the mobile device.
This is the old one, the new one.
I'm using correctly.
Can we take the final picture? Any other question?
What about OCR search? Is there?
Sorry?
OCR search.
OCR?
Search.
So the components that are not available in the SharePoint, it's built-in, is the scanning tool and to have the OCR. So this is not built-in. What I mean by that, not built-in, not because Microsoft didn't do it or Microsoft is doing it. Microsoft will never do it, as of now. The reason why, because we have wonderful partners like KnowledgeGate, Everteam, who have spent a lot of time, Div Point as well. They have spent a lot of time creating tools that are simple and clean and as well direct integrated with SharePoint. Rather than they do document management system. Why they need to reinvent the wheel? SharePoint has document management system, so they work on top of SharePoint and they store all the documents within the SharePoint. This is the way how they focus. Any other question? Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And hopefully you can enjoy the link. It's going to be a fantastic time. Keep it here.
Tell us about the URL, the website.
wss.com/review. Demo. WSS level. Demo.
How is the migration from 10 to 13? How easy, how difficult?
والله I tried it myself. I put in the database. Just there is a new bank tools. You run them. And does the migration. Definitely I can have a discussion with this.
So for the app, you need a certification for Microsoft for using the app.
Right. So this is the way how we use the app. You can build your app store internally. Okay. So as an example, as an administrator, you can buy apps, upload them internally. Okay. And you can disable the people from installing these apps. So this is one. The second one, if you are a government entity and you are managing the whole government, you can build your own apps for the government. And you can guys build like a private app store. The third one is if you want to get the apps, allow everyone to access the apps. Here you can have two things. You can allow people to just only install the free apps. You can block some apps, you can filter that within the administration tools. And then the apps is an amazing concept, and I like it personally. I think Microsoft should have that even before. It's, a lot of people, they like the concept because imagine we have a store. There are a lot of practices. By the way, it's a good time to remind everyone. You know, guys, that we have a Kuwait SharePoint community. So please go to Facebook, it's SharePoint community user group from Kuwait. Material facts. We tried before to invite people to attend the SharePoint community. I was so much excited that I want to create a SharePoint community in Kuwait because this is the way how it is worldwide. Most of the time, SharePoint admins and developers, they work together, they connect together, they are like a community, everyone shares their knowledge, and that's the way how we build up. As an example, in Jordan, I used to have a community out there. When we used to do one session, it used to be attended by 300 people. So we used to have something called SharePoint Saturday, full house. Right? Okay, this is the way how it is. In Kuwait, I think we can do it. We need to stay connected as a SharePoint administrators and admins. There is a community online. Just as you said there, I'm planning that next month, inshallah, that we start again the sessions. To be honest with you, as Microsoft, we shouldn't do the sessions. The sessions should be done by the community to the community. This is the way how it is. It's there, you just need to participate. It's there within the Facebook. We have a good amount of people, and I think it's like we have much more IT professionals in Kuwait than we have left. So in home here we have especially local people, that they are very good and they know, and they are deep dive in SharePoint. I've seen SharePoint done in Kuwait in an amazing way. I wish I can tell you the stories, but I've seen things that I have never seen before. People are customizing SharePoint to an extent. There is a company in Kuwait, I can mention the name, that everything done from the reception until the door of the director or the chairman is in SharePoint from an automation perspective. We didn't allow any form to be created internally on paper. Everything done in InfoPath, and they have some customization they have done, and they have a workflow system. Last week, one of the retail companies, they came to us and they told us we have implemented SharePoint, and on top of it, we implemented Netix workflow. They told me Netix, they have a feature. I didn't know it before. It's called lazy workflow. You know what's lazy workflow? From the name you can notice. It's lazy workflow. So I'm not even able to go to my company, to my laptop, and say approve. This is very normal for executives. Our executives, they are all the way around and they just only access their company from the mobile. Most of the time, even we have their desktop in the office, they don't access their emails. So with lazy workflow, you can just reply with saying approve, la mani, muwafaq, and it moves the workflow to the next step. This is Netix. You know how much Netix costs? The retail price? $15,000 per second. All of these features of workflow, the designer is nothing. So you can imagine where you can go with that. I would definitely recommend you to look into this. It's an amazing, I think there are other tools as well, K2.net and other tools that are very online. I really recommend you to look into it and figure out. SharePoint by itself comes with workflow, but sometimes you need to have the luxury of doing things in a much more automated way. This is I'm